The power of the subconscious mind. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've read in a very long time. And the reason I love it so much is because it was talking about subjects that I'd always known about, that I had always thought about, that in some way I always knew were true, but it explains them in a manner that I haven't seen addressed. And the power of the subconscious mind is very much similar to Think and Grow Rich, any Neville Goddard book, but it really focuses on the approaches that we can do with our subconscious that will actively affect our lives. And we don't have to get into the mystical aspect of the law of assumption or Christ consciousness or collective consciousness or anything aside from the basis of science and the foundations of how we operate. And before I get into this, I will explain a little bit about the subconscious, because the subconscious and the conscious are things that we throw around, but maybe it's not the exact context that you know it in. And I want you to just think of like the conscious mind is what you're doing right now. You know, you can pull from it, it observes patterns, it basically tells you what to do when you're awake. But the subconscious controls your heart beating, your blood pushing throughout your body. All of these other functions are controlled by your subconscious. And it adapts to what we give it. It adapts to what the conscious mind pushes it towards. So when you are somebody that's insecure, it's because you have a lifetime of people telling you you're not good enough. People, you know, from your childhood to high school to all the other things. And you've impressed with your subconscious that you are not a confident person. You are a fearful person. And when we start understanding that there's a basis for the way we're living and it comes from the stimulus that we're providing our subconscious, we can actively change it. We can actively say, you know what, I'm not where I want to be, but if I just change the messaging that is inside my head, if I just start telling myself different ideas, different thoughts, that can change it. And yeah, you can do like the robotic affirmations. You can, you know, start making changes in your life that are going to reset your subconscious, but you can also just start thinking more positively. You can start, when you're doubting yourself, you can stop like, I can't pile on myself. I can't keep doing this. Like, I'm good enough, I'm worthy. Like, you can start saying these things to yourself and you will actively change the way your mind operates. But we don't like to view it in this way. We like to view it in the sense of like, I'm the way I am because somebody else did this to me, because this. And it's like, no, the way you are is the way you reacted to everything around you. And I'm not shaming you, I'm not judging you, I'm not saying that you're wrong for thinking you're insecure because your parents didn't give you the attention you wanted. Like, it was your environment that got you to the place where you are, but you can change it by simply changing the power of your thought. You could simply focus on the positive. You could be gracious. You could look at things from a different perspective. And we almost get back into the old philosophy of like, you apply rationality to your life to flip the script, to change the narrative, to change the way you view things. And if you can see everything as a positive, as everything as an opportunity to learn and grow, then you have nothing but a great life. And it's like, there's so many things about the subconscious and there's so many things about the mind that we just don't understand as individuals. And this book does a really good job of just explaining how you can use your subconscious to benefit you, how you can start changing the way you speak to yourself, how you can start affirming things and actually transforming your life, actually making yourself a more positive, more happy, more prosperous person. And it all starts with the messages you're telling yourself, the things you choose to believe, the things you choose to hold in your mind and allow to penetrate the subconscious and impress upon your subconscious. Because I want you to know that your subconscious is awake at all times. While you're sleeping, your subconscious is awake. While you're awake, your subconscious is awake. And we need to understand these factors because we can actively affect them. We can actively impress them. And if you've ever heard a story of somebody miraculously healing just by the power of thought, it's because their subconscious allowed them to. It's because the infinite intelligence allowed them to. It's because the same forces that gave Einstein his ideas are active in you. You can pull from your subconscious. You can become a great artist. You can become a great painter. You can become a great thinker. You just have to begin to access this power that's inside of all of us. And if you don't believe me, think of any great work. Think of any great artist. Think of anything that has stood the test of time. It does not come from the conscious mind. It does not come from, oh, well, I saw this in the past, so I'm going to replicate this. Creativity and creation comes from the subconscious. It comes to the infinite intelligence. It comes from God. It comes from something so much deeper and so much greater. And as we get more and more analytical and rational, we take away from this faculty that's just tremendous. it's just amazing. Anything great that has ever been created, anything great that has ever come to the market or in any way affected humanity has always come from the subconscious. And we need to start actively using this instead of being passive bystanders, passive victims, because if you aren't conscious with how your subconscious is being affected, I know that it's like a cringy way to say it, but like if you're not conscious with what you're putting into your subconscious, you will never be able to succeed, because you will forever be a victim to your circumstances, a victim to your environment, a victim to the negativity and the news and all of this other bullshit that are going into why you are in the same spot, why you can't make progress, why you can't change your life. And it has to do with the impression that we're putting into our own head. And I want you to know, Emerson said it best: we are what we think about all day. Man becomes what he thinks about. And you need to think about positivity. You need to think about greatness. You need to think about prosperity. And through doing these things, the subconscious will give you the ideas on how to become wealthy, on how to become rich, on how to become successful. Like, real quick, I'll give you a really, really, really good cheat code to being creative. I've said this before, but I need to say this as much as possible, because I do this before every video. I do this before any time I have to, do a presentation, or, I'm going to jiu-jitsu and I'm extremely stressed out and I kind of want to just have fun and play around with it and perform my best without being angry. Like, sit down, relax, meditate, sit, and then be there until the point where there's no longer any thoughts. So if you have to do deep breathing, if you can just be relaxed. And in that moment, start imagining yourself in that state already. And when you can imagine yourself in the end, when you can imagine yourself having that which you wish to be already, that's when you get the ideas for greatness. That's when you get the idea to write that story, to film that video, to go after your goals. That's when you get the guidance that you need to really pursue your dreams. And it's something that we don't understand and we're not taught. And when you start to understand it, when you start to apply it, your life will begin to change. And real quick, before I go, just start playing around with this stuff. Just start applying this into your life, and I'm telling you, you're going to really be amazed with what happens. You're going to really be amazed with the ideas that you put into your head and that you see reflected into your reality. So I'll leave a link to this book in the description. On top of that, I have a Discord. I also have my paid community. And the new thing I'm doing in these videos is I'm going to ask, you don't have to comment. You can comment if you want, but before I end this, tell me one thing that you are grateful for. One thing that you are thankful for. And one thing I'm thankful for today is I woke up with energy and the creativity to express myself today. And that's not something I can always say, so it's a great day. And just know, like, the more you're grateful, the more you can smile, the more happy you will be, and the more life will provide for you. So love all you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.